Oh my God. You
We'll
fucking porno scuzzbag.
get the Oculus. The porn is free.
Oh,
VR porn.
Go put your porn helmet on. Gross. Gross.
Four.
Oh, I fucking hate you.
Welcome to Hey, did you ever see that movie? I'm your host, Des, and as always, I'm joined by my lovely co-host, Lynn.
Can't even today. Just go.
Okay, and joining us again, the podcaster with 1,000 potions, Mikki.
the issue isn't if you're paranoid or not, it's whether you're paranoid enough.
Okay.
I've got the giggles.
so
I'm sorry.
It says here in the script to throw it to Delyn. So, Delyn, you go ahead and take it.
All right. So I just wanted to take a quick minute before we get going to remind everyone to please, please, please go wherever you're listening to the podcast, rate, subscribe, review, whatever you can do. Thumbs up. I don't know. Any place that you see us or listen to us, this helps put us into under the eyeballs of other people that might like us. And without that, we're kind of just screaming into the ether and just talking to the handful of people that have already found us. So we'd really appreciate it if you guys, take 5 minutes out of your time and just go and do that, because it helps us grow. It helps us get in front of people that are going to hear us and enjoy us and share us more. So
Yeah, preach.
the more we
preach,
well, the
girl.
more shut up.
Okay.
The more remind Des to shut up. The more we grow, the more we have time, effort, money, and desire to make more podcasts. So, it helps you. And we've tried to keep the podcast ad free this far. We're not making you listen to a bunch of annoying ads. So, we're not begging for cash. Just please go rate, subscribe, review, like, thumbs up, whatever is the system on where you're listening to us. And thank you very much.
Yeah. So I'd like all the listeners to step into my office. You're fucking fired. The fuck are you doing? You come here every fucking week. You listen to the podcast for free. We lighten up your Monday at work, and you can't even leave us. You can't even click the little fucking 5-star thing. It takes 1 second. There's no Patreon. God knows we've been offered 1 million commercials. We could be making money. They have offered us money to put commercials into our show, but we don't do it because we love you. And how do you pay us back? All right. I see how you are. Good. So we're going to give this another week. And next week, if I don't see some 5 stars, no podcast. It's over. Okay.
In the meantime, we're about to give you the worst movie review ever.
Yes. We are about to serve up a sweaty orgy of a movie.
This is your punishment.
Yeah. This is like playing Stairway to Heaven on a loop. There we go. All right, let's do it.
All right.
Okay. This week, we will be discussing the 1995 sci-fi action movie Strange Days, written by James Cameron and Jay Cox. Directed by Catherine Bigelow, starring Ralph Fiennes, Angela Bassett, Juliette Lewis, Tom Sizemore, Michael Wincott, and Vincent D'Onofrio. As always, this movie will contain spoilers. So if you haven't seen it, well, you may be doing yourself a justice.
Stop it.
Okay. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. Oh, I feel bad saying this, but go watch it and then come back and listen to the podcast. Okay. Now it is time for Dez's 4-in-1 fun and 1 fake fact, where it will be up to my 2 co-hosts to decide which fact is total bullshit. I still haven't flushed that sentence out. Where it's time for, now it's time for Des 4-in-1.
Now's not the time to workshop it, my friend.
And 1 fake fact. I say it different every week and it never makes sense. All right.
Well, that's completely on brand.
Let's mark the time down because we can edit this out, but you should make a template.
Oh,
it
there
is
is
in
a template.
Oh.
is a template.
Template is shit.
I have fucking dyslexia and I read it differently every time. Okay.
Oh my god.
So
That
here we
might be
go.
the sound bite for the beginning.
Oh shit. Yeah. Okay. So fun fact number 1. Juliette Lewis did all of her own vocals for the film for the performance her character Faith gives on stage at the nightclub. Fact number 2. The movie title comes from the album Strange Days by The Doors, and covers version of the album's title track is played in the movie. That didn't make any sense, but you get what I'm trying to say.
No sense at all.
The party scene was an actual rave. It was promoted by Philip Blaine, and it was called Millennium. Number 4. James Cameron first conceived the story in 1986, but shelved it due to his commitments to other projects. The screenplay was finished by Jay Cox, who was mainly responsible for the dialogue. And number 5, James Cameron wrote a short story after seeing the 1985 movie The Dead Zone. This short story would eventually become Strange Days. Mikki, which one of these would you like me to read for you again because it made no sense?
All of them.
She said all of them. Would you like to throw a dart at 1 through 5?
How about okay, screw that. I'm just gonna say 4 is total. What was 4 again?
James Cameron first conceived the story in 1986, but okay. And Dylan, which of these do you think is bullshit?
I'm gonna say number 3. About the rave.
Fucking A, baby. I finally stumped the panel again. It has been many weeks since I was able to do so. Yes, those two were true. The one that is fake is The Dead Zone. James Cameron did not model this movie after The Dead Zone, even though. Well, you know what it is? Once again, I did a little conception on you two because I did discuss this with you both in the off week about how it reminded me of The Dead Zone. And I had dropped Dead Zone into both of your minds several times over the last week. So I cheated a little bit, but it's okay.
What's new?
Shame
cheater,
on you
pumpkin
two
eater.
for being, shame on you two for being so easily persuaded.
Shame on you.
Okay. Well, I think you're both intimidated by my intelligence. Okay. Okay. With a box office budget of $42 million and a box office gross of just $8 million, this movie was considered a huge hunk of shit. And it's truly amazing that Catherine Bigelow ever worked again in Hollywood after losing them $30+ million. And honestly, $8 million is probably more than it deserved.
Catherine Bigelow at some point was married to James Cameron, so
yes,
that's probably part of the reason why she worked again. And she actually went on and did some really big movies. She did Zero Dark 30.
Mhm.
She did The Hurt Locker. I think she won an Academy Award. But she's was also the director of Near Dark, which is one of my favorite vampire movies ever. And she did Point Break. So
let me say this. This movie does not have the fingerprint of Mrs. Bigelow. This has the fingerprint of a man on it. I'm feeling like James Cameron slapped this movie with his male part quite a few times.
God.
Yeah. I'm feeling the imprint of a wiener on this film. Okay.
Oh my goodness. I'm sure he kind of directed through her, kind of a thing.
Yeah, I'm sure she probably would have gone a little lighter on the graphic rape scenes. Like, they're like, what should we do here? How about another rape scene? Only this time we'll make the woman watch me rape her through my own mind. It's like, okay, God, so bad. Okay, let's get some opening thoughts on this. I'll start.
I think you already did.
Okay. As bad as this is, it's infinitely better than The Fifth Element, which is the worst movie I've ever seen. Okay. So my opening thoughts.
You're so full of shit.
Oh, okay. I did love the way this movie looked. It was super stylistic, and I love stylistic movies like The Crow, Blade Runner, just these movies that just have this like undeniably cool look to them. You know what I mean? And it had that. And um, it did have a nightclub like in The Crow, equipped with a Michael Wilcott, like in The Crow, right? Long hair, rocker Michael Wilcott, loved it. Great bands on the stage. Testament, right? Isn't that who's in this one?
Oh, I don't know. Was it Testament?
Uh,
I can't
bel-
remember.
I believe Testament. Somebody put that into the Google machine. I believe I saw Testament on stage. I may have been mistaken.
Googling now.
I didn't actually Google it. I just thought I recognized that is the band on stage.
I'm not seeing that. Keep going.
Okay. I like the concept of this movie a lot, selling memories and experiences. I thought that was really cool. But the plot was super jumbled. And the only way they were able to make it make sense after 2.5 hours with this like unbelievably huge exposition dump in one of the final scenes where they basically had to like spell out every single thing you just saw to make it make sense, which in my mind is always just super cheap storytelling. They couldn't get the story across to you the way it was shot. So the director says, all right, let's have two characters basically tell you the entire plot of the movie in like 4 minutes. Okay. So, not good. And it needed to be edited down by an entire hour because after an hour and a half, I looked at the ticker and I went, oh, it's another hour to go. Like I literally couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. And it did remind me of another movie called Other Life. It came out in 2017. So if you did kind of like the idea of this and you'd like to explore something like this more, check that out. It's called Other Life, and it's very similar. And it also kind of reminded me a little of a movie called Brain Scan with Edward Furlong. Similar, not anything
really
like this, but experiencing somebody else's fucking experiences through whatever. There was a lot of rape, monotonous rape, a lot of murder. I never like when a story is built around that, especially one that's as clever as this and could have gone in like so many other directions that would have been more fun and made a 2.5 hour movie more fun and interesting. So yeah, that's kind of what I got going into this. Yeah. No, you can move your hands all you want. It's my show.
Move it along, kid. You're
Okay.
going through the whole movie. I'm going to agree with you. It needed to be edited. And my thought here is that this movie didn't know what it wanted to be. It could have been a cool psycho serial killer thing, or it could have been a treaty on, race and police violence and things like that. But they tried to do both. And I think when they tried to do both, they ended up cheapening both. Like you couldn't focus on either plot line because they were both going concurrently. And, in some movies, in some stories, that works and it works well. But in this one, you get 2.5 hours and you just start getting like, you can't focus on either side because there's just so much going on that, I kind of felt like, the whole Jericho 1 plot line was kind of cool, but it was like, they wasted it really, because it was like it never really kind of went anywhere. It wasn't like yeah, of course the bad guys got their comeuppance at the end, but it wasn't like I kept thinking that she was going to take the squid thing. What?
You're rambling.
Stop. Stop.
Well, I mean, you did.
Honey, you talked for like 20 minutes. I had to fucking shut you down, okay?
I would just like to also just interject here that Testament was in fact the band on the stage. I Googled it.
Okay.
He's so proud.
My mother's always telling me about the Google machine. Do you know you could just Google it? I fucking know all about it. Go ahead.
Oh my goodness. Anyways, I just felt like it suffered from an overabundance of story. Like there was just too much and you couldn't focus on any of it. And it ended up making both plot lines muddled. Like,
Yeah.
pick a lane and stick to it. You
Yeah, it was
know,
a great sci-fi movie with no sci-fi. Mickey, go.
Are you done, Dylan?
I'm done. I was going to just say, agree also that I think it's a beautiful movie. Like, I love the costumes. I love the sets. It's gorgeous, you know, and
Yeah.
so much cool visual stuff going on here. I really, really dig it. And I feel like if they had just chose a lane, it could have been, you know, a really good movie.
I agree that it definitely could have been pared down. Honestly, I remember seeing this when it came. I loved this movie when it came out. I loved it, loved it. I love Juliette Lewis. I'm a huge fan of hers. And this, I believe, was actually the start of her music career. Like, this is what made her want to, you know, do a music career with her band, The Licks. And I love Ralph Fiennes, although, excuse me, his character in this was a real pain in the ass, and he was very annoying. Although I loved his character. To me, I loved Angela Bassett's character. She like made the movie for me. Tom Sizemore, I feel like Tom Sizemore, like I think his like scuzz factor, like kind of
so scuzzy,
made the movie. You know what I mean? To me, was just like I wanted to take a shower after like every scene I watched with him. And I noticed, like, and like you said, the movie was beautifully filmed, like the sets, the clothes, everything. But did you notice, like, and it was funny because I know they were trying to portray it as, you know, LA in the 90s, like 1999, but there was always chaos in the streets, always upheaval. There was never a time when you didn't see, you know, a fire or smoke or cops or lights or somebody, you know, being arrested or tanks or guns or something.
It's constant upheaval in the street. Like, I don't even know how you just drive down the street and it's okay. Like,
but
I was like, I'd be at home.
I do agree that it could have been shortened at least by 30 minutes. There, and like I said, there's a lot of things that I liked, honestly. Like, if this technology was like readily available,
it is.
I might be like a wirehead. Like, I'd probably never leave the house.
Okay, listen. So for anybody who's interested, this technology has arrived. Okay. I went out and bought an Oculus for virtual reality porn. It's there. Like, it's
oh my
there.
God.
So,
marking that down. You're not putting that out.
You are not marking that down. For all male listeners, run out and get yourself an Oculus. It's there. The technology is there.
It's not. First of all, you're not feeling shit. Like, this whole fucking point is that you're feeling their emotions. You can feel like, it feels like somebody's touching your body. That is not what VR Oculus is like.
Listen, you don't know shit about
looking.
it.
You're just looking.
You don't know shit about it.
You're just
you
looking.
You don't know shit about it.
Oh my God. You fucking porno scuzzbag.
Okay, let's keep going. Get the Oculus. The porn is free. VR porn. Okay.
God.
Let's get into this movie.
And you have the balls to be like, ew, there's too much rape, but go put your porn helmet on.
Yeah, I'm not raping people in my porn helmet.
Gross. Gross.
I think we got our intro. Oh God. Okay.
Right, would everybody like a synopsis?
Yeah, see, I've been going old school with the podcast. We're bringing it back to its grassroots.
Okay. Remind Des to shut up.
For anybody who isn't getting that reference, it's Night Shift with Henry Winkler and Michael Keaton.
All right. For a policeman.
Shut the fuck up, please.
That was coming from our human resource office.
Oh my God. All right, here we go. Former policeman Larry. His name isn't Larry. Former policeman Lenny Nero has moved into a more lucrative trade, the illegal sale of virtual reality-like recordings that allow users to experience the emotions and past experiences of others. While the bootlegs typically contain tawdry incidents, Nero is shocked when he receives one showing a murder. He enlists a friend, bodyguard Mace, to help find the killer, and the two soon stumble upon a vast conspiracy involving the police force Nero once worked for. Dun, dun, dun.
Okay. Exciting.
Are you excited?
No.
No, not at all.
No.
Can we also talk about the fact that everybody in this movie is, except for Angela Bassett, everyone is sweaty. Constantly
the whole,
sweaty.
The whole movie is sweaty.
Everybody is sweaty. Juliette Lewis is sweaty. Michael Wilcott is sweaty. Ray Fiennes is sweaty. Sweaty, sweaty, sweaty. It's like,
The
oh my
plot
God,
is
y'all.
sweaty. The story is sweaty. Fucking, it's all sweaty.
But Angela Bassett is like flawless and powdered at all times, even when
she's
kicking
a
ass.
goddess.
She looks amazing.
Beautiful. She's beautiful. She's fucking kicks ass in this movie.
Yes.
She's like raising a child. She's like this amazing human being, the only one in the entire movie. And this fucking dipshit is hung up on some crack hoe. It's so stupid. Fuck this movie. Fuck this movie. Okay, let's go. Let's get into this thing.
Okay. Los Angeles, December 30th, 1999. The movie starts with the viewer seeing through the eyes of a camera. It follows as three men rob a restaurant at gunpoint, then make a run for it. The police arrive and give chase. The men end up on a roof, and the viewer follows the camera, falling off the roof and dying when they hit the pavement. The screen goes to jagged static. Lenny Nero, played by Ray Fiennes, pulls a wired cap off his head, exasperated. He complains to the man with him, named Tick, that he doesn't deal in snuff clips. Despite that, Lenny and Tick come to agreement on the price. So, Mikki, this introduces us very quickly to what Lenny is all about and what he's involved in. Yes. He's a purveyor of these experiences, sex without cheating, crime without the risk of getting caught by the authorities. But it also gives us a glimpse into how violent the environment is currently.
You know what's interesting is, and I made sure to make a note of this because I thought it was very fitting, and I noticed it a couple times when I was watching it. But when they, excuse me, at the beginning of the film when they were listening to the radio, and she said, "Okay, caller, what do you have to say?" And he's like, "Gas is over $3 a gallon. 5th grade kids are shooting each other at recess, and the whole thing sucks." I'm like, "Wow, that's like a little, you know what I mean?" Like, oh yeah,
2020.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
it's scary and gross.
Yeah. It's
very
similar to what we saw in the summer, a couple of summers ago.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the streets of, every city USA actually became this, which is terrifying. And, we're basically one election away from watching it get even worse if things
I think we're like one election away from something like The Purge, to be honest.
Yeah, I agree. It could get really bad. Hey, so did you guys notice that I've seen this actor before that played Tick? Did you guys know he was the original drummer of Sonic Youth?
No,
Isn't that
really?
crazy? Yeah, he's the original drummer. Yes, this guy, man, like on top of being a great actor, he's the original fucking drummer of Sonic Youth. It's crazy.
He's wow. You guys have seen Desperately Seeking Susan, yes?
Of course.
Yeah.
So there's the scene where she's walking down the street and she takes he holds the door for the newspaper machine open, and she takes like all the newspapers and throws them on the sidewalk.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Dang, baby, that's him."
Yeah.
That's him. I was like, "Oh my God, that's him." Because he's listed as newspaper guy.
That's funny.
So this opening scene, I'm watching it, and immediately I'm not even very interested in the scene itself. Like, I don't find it to be unusually exciting. Doesn't draw me into the movie. I mean, this isn't a memory I would want to buy. And I don't think it's a memory anybody would want to buy. Like, hey, you got a, I don't know, maybe like a group of guys robbing a Chinese food restaurant.
I think it's for the adrenaline.
I mean, how about like scaling Everest or jumping out of a plane, pulling this parachute late, I don't even know, wrestling, dude.
Well,
this is fucking very in particular, like robbing a Chinese food restaurant. What?
Well, and even in the movie, Lenny said, "This is shit. What am I going to do with this?"
Right.
This is crap.
Yeah. And it's not a snuff film. The best part of it is the guy falls off the roof and dies. Like, you get that, like, to feel that emotion. I mean, seriously, that might be the only thing I would be interested in is like, what does it feel like just before you die? Like, that might be interesting to me, but like, what's it like to fucking hold up a Chinese food joint with a couple of my friends? That's fucking stupid.
Yeah.
That's stupid. I'm not paying top dollar for that.
Well, and apparently Lenny wasn't either.
Yeah, true. Yeah, he was only going to pay 5 shekels or whatever it was.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. All right. So since this technology is illegal, it's ripe for black market deals. And Lenny is availing himself of the opportunity to make some money. He meets with a potential client and nearly has him convinced to buy his product when he's accosted by a cop who turns out to be his friend Max, played by Tom Sizemore. The client is scared off and Max treats Lenny to a drink. Lenny, it turns out, is a former cop who was drummed out of the LAPD by his former supervisor, Commissioner Strickland. Isn't that the name of the guy in not Pretty in Pink? What's that one? Breakfast Club? Is Strickland the teacher in that one?
It's not.
Strickland is Fast Times at Richmond. At Fast Times.
Strickland is fucking Back to the Future. Let's keep going.
Okay. Well, then why didn't you just say so? Anyways. Nearby, a frightened woman is being chased by 2 LAPD officers. She squeezes onto a subway car, but not before one of the cops, Steckler, played by Vincent D'Onofrio, grabs her by the hair. It comes off in his hand because it's a wig. The cop's partner, Engelman, played by William Fichtner, picks up the wig and sees it's got wires in it. It's a squid, a superconductive quantum interference device, which records the wearer's thoughts and feelings. This technology was developed by law enforcement to make recordings for evidence gathering, and it's illegal to buy or sell in the civilian sector. The cops are clearly upset that the woman got away. So I mentioned this. You mentioned this earlier. This is supercharged VR with emotions and feelings tied to it as well as the visual. Right, Des?
Yeah. So, all right. So I've got so many problems here. So first of all, the guy is trying to set up a sale. He's going through all this trouble to set the sale up. And then fucking sweaty wig boy comes in and pretends to put a gun in his back and scares off the potential client. And he just lets the guy run off. Like, this makes no sense. Like, at the very least, like, we're just joking. We're just joking. Come back. It's good. Nope. He's going to let this guy just run off. Second of all, our star is a defunct police officer. This guy, God, he can't pick up on one breadcrumb that's left from him throughout the entire movie. He's so stupid that people have to write his name on envelopes that are fucking clues that they're leaving behind for him. Because if they don't, he's not going to fucking pick up on it. He's a fucking moron. Okay. It's just so bad. It's so bad.
And I think that I agree with you. But I think that they're trying to make you see that he is so devastated over the loss of his relationship that he's a I forget what they call him, a jackhead or whatever, crack. I don't know what they call him. Wirehead or something. Of strictly watching videos of him and his ex-girlfriend. And I think that they're trying to portray it that he's so, he looks like a junkie. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so maybe I think because of that, then I don't know. Did they ever say why he left the police department? Like, did they ever say what it was that happened?
Because he was a shitty cop. He was stupid. He didn't have a gun.
I'm just wondering if it's because of all the shit that he was going through with Juliette Lewis, and then it made him just suck as a cop, and that's why he got fired, and now he's like a junkhead and he's a dealer. You know what I mean? But I don't know if they ever said.
I didn't pick up on it.
They failed in making me believe that this relationship was anything more than just like a thing, like, oh, Lenny, they're fucking, she's like, oh, it's just so lame. Like, they're roller skating on the boulevard, and then they have like this little like roll in the sack, and he like pushes a pillow on her face. It's like, what the fuck this isn't what you throw your career and your life away and get like hung up on this chick. Like, this is like a summer thing. You hook up with this chick this just didn't feel like true love to me. I'm sorry. And then so the girl's gonna throw the disc that we don't know what's on it, but the important disc, right? She's gonna drop it in the sunroof of his car, then go into the club and be like, you have to see this disc, you have to see it. It's out in your car. Why didn't
she bring it in? Like,
just bring it in. Just bring it in and give it to him.
Yeah. I have a fun fact. The girl that played Iris was actually in a movie called Red Shoe Diaries with Billy Wirth.
Oh, interesting.
Bringing it back to Billy Wirth.
Again.
6 degrees of separation to Billy Wirth.
We're the Billy Wirth fan club over here. What do you want?
I know.
And then how long did it take for our super detective to figure out that he should maybe get his car back? It's fucking so dumb. Oh
Oh
God.
my
Okay.
God.
I
Okay.
love that he
Alright.
has a briefcase full of fake Rolexes.
Oh
That's
my
hilarious.
God.
The fake Rolexes and just like
Is
8
it?
of them. Yeah,
Is
I thought it
it?
was funny. Okay.
Okay.
Mm.
I think I've seen it somewhere before. I'd have
Have
to dig
you?
it up though. I have.
Sure. Okay.
I have.
All right. While Lenny and Max enjoy their drinks, an announcement is made on the news that famous hip hop musician Jericho One has been found murdered. Jericho had drawn much criticism from city leaders and the LAPD for openly criticizing them in his lyrics and publicly speaking at events. His agent, a man named Philo Gant, played by Michael Wincott, gives a brief commentary saying that Jericho was a voice for the oppressed. Iris, the woman, chased by the two cops, shows up at the bar and drops a playback disc with a note attached into Lenny's car. She then finds him in the bar and begs him to come talk to her and see the disc. She name drops Faith, Lenny's ex, played by Juliette Lewis, and Lenny follows along. She sees cops on the street and runs off just as Lenny's car is getting towed away. With no ride, he calls his friend Lornette Mason, played by Angela Bassett, who everyone just calls Mace. It's clear things are strained between the two friends as Lenny behaves like an asshat. Eventually, she's coerced into dropping him off at an exclusive club owned by Faith's new boyfriend, Philo, where Faith is singing that night. He approaches Faith immediately, and Philo gets him thrown out of the club. He then breaks in through a window, stops to see the tech guy upstairs who gives him an envelope left for him, and then goes to watch Faith sing. Afterward, he makes a fool of himself in Faith's dressing room before getting tuned up by the bodyguard again. So, Mikki, I got to be honest with you. This becomes a running theme in the movie. Lenny doesn't know when to stop. And I walked out at some point into the living room and looked at Des and I was like, he's so stalkery. It's actually bumming me out a little bit.
He just gets his ass kicked through the whole movie while stalking his ex-girlfriend.
Yeah. And honestly, too, like, I like how they, actually, I don't want to give it away until the end, but they made reference to that towards the end of the movie, that he was constantly harassing her in, public places. But he is like, he looks like,
He is.
and I don't know. I feel like, I don't know. I know I've been at that point in my life when you break up with someone and you don't necessarily want to be broken up. So you're a little
show up where
kind
they're
of,
going to be. You kind of be a
yeah,
pest.
you're kind of like annoying. You know what I mean? But like, he really just was over the top. Like, and, she's telling him, go away. She's making out with this guy in front of him. And he's just like, oh, you know what I mean? Like at some point, like, and honestly, I love Juliette Lewis. Her character was an asshole.
Oh yeah. It's trash.
Yeah.
There was nothing like redeeming that I could see besides, I like her performance. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like,
sure. But as a character, as Faith herself.
Yeah.
Faith was an asshole.
But it was weird because there were a couple of scenes, one in particular when he's going down in the elevator with the bodyguard.
Yep.
And she's screaming, I don't love you anymore. And she's almost like playing it like over the
wink,
top,
wink,
like
nudge,
like
nudge.
wink, wink. Yeah, like wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Like you almost get the point in some, like the feeling in some of these scenes that she's doing it to protect him from Michael Wincott's character.
I agree. I agree.
Yeah. So, I mean, and they were never clear with it because in some scenes it feels like she's telling them to like genuinely fuck off. And in other scenes it feels like she's giving them the wink, wink. And this is the problem with this storytelling and this character building. None of it works because there's never one moment in this movie when you feel anything between, what's his name? The bad cop with the dried out wig.
Max.
Tom Sizemore.
Between Tom Sizemore and this character, which is going to be, the big reveal at the end. It just doesn't play. It doesn't play. We've got to get a couple of scenes of them like, disappearing into a room. And then, maybe, what's his name there? I've got none of these characters' names down. Long hair fucking club owner.
Michael Wincott.
Michael Wincott, catching her and Ted Sizemore. Yep. Milo, what's going on in here? Well, you told me to watch her. You know what I mean? Like, give me a couple of give me a couple of nibbles to make me think maybe something's going on.
No, honestly, like I said, I think that this movie suffers from an overabundance of too many stories and too much stuff happening. If you take the Jericho thing out, you'd have more time for that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and it sucks
Yeah.
So
because
that's
it's such a cool idea, you know what I mean?
It
It's
is.
such a
yeah.
cool
It
idea.
really is. It really is. And when we do get some of these reveals too, none of them make sense because at one point this movie starts becoming a movie about a serial killer who's got this really sadistic side and wants to torture these women past the point of like rape and murder to where they have to experience it through the eyes of the murderer and you're like, "Wow, serial killer." Like really twisted. No. No, this is just a cop and he's not a serial killer at all and he's just doing this because like no guy is going to put this much thought and effort into it unless this is something he's passionate. It's fucking so poorly
I wish
written.
they
Not
had,
to
and honestly, I wish they had gone a little bit deeper into the background of how Lenny and Mace got close. I mean,
Yeah.
obviously, you know why, but like,
Right.
I wish they had gone into that because she is so. I mean, obviously, she loves him and she's very loyal to him, but I just wish they
Yes.
had gone a little deeper as to why she's so loyal
Yeah,
and
the
Right.
why
one
she loves
scene
him.
the one scene of him sitting with her child when she comes home from work as a waitress, which
Yep.
again, she's like a special ops, fucking super trooper, ass kicking. Like, what about this
I
fucking
would
suit
like to
she
know
had?
where she learned all that.
Right.
Did she learn it for the limo job? Did she learn it somewhere else? Like,
At waitressing school? I mean,
yeah,
what?
wait, she didn't learn it as a waitress, I can tell you that
Right.
much.
No, come on. She's fucking
So,
overqualified to ever be a waitress and a greasy spoon.
yeah. Well, no, I think that that was beforehand, but like, so in that time period, how did she learn that? Did she, was it part of the, because obviously as the limo driver, she is tasked with keeping people safe because of
Yeah.
the current,
Right.
She's the best
environment.
character in the movie. She's the
Yes.
best
She is.
character in the movie. There was absolutely no background story on her, no
Yeah.
character building.
Yeah.
We don't know why she fucking would even want to be with some jack fucking crackhead loser.
Yeah.
She's
Yeah.
too
Like,
good
why
for
is he
him.
1,000%?
Well,
I wrote that. That's actually my last note in this entire thing is she is way too good for Lenny.
She's too good
Way
for
too
this movie.
good.
I also think like, I wonder if, she like, because again, the timeline is not explained, but did she fall in love with him? Obviously, she must have fallen in love with him before he became a jackhead because he was a
Right.
cop. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
he
And
was a
she
cop.
met him. So now the other thing is, it, they never explain when he and Faith split. So did she like was she
Know
friends
him
with Faith?
pre-fake.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like it's weird. It's really
It's very
weird, and
strange.
I wish they had explained it more. Because I think her character and Angela Bassett, I feel like deserved more than that. Like
I
Yeah,
agree.
she's so fucking badass.
I
and
agree.
his relationship with Faith really just felt like a casual thing. The way they were setting it up, it didn't feel like this special. It just didn't feel like a life-changing event to me. The way they set it up,
Right.
you
So
know.
Lenny retreats to Mace's limo. There he opens the envelope he was given and sees it's a disc. He puts the cap on and begins watching it. It's a playback of a man breaking into a hotel room and violently attacking a woman. Lenny recognizes her as Iris. The attacker puts another squid device on her head to make her witness her own rape and murder from his eyes. Distressed, Lenny orders Mace to go to the Sunset region. When they arrive, they see the dead woman being taken out. Afterward, he goes to Faith's house where he tells her that Iris is dead and he's in fear for her life. But she tells him again to get lost, and then Philo's clowns attempt to beat him up, but Mace steps in and saves his ass because she kicks ass. Lenny takes the recording to Tick's place. Tick tries to identify the equipment in the recording, but can't tell if it's his or not. He also says that the rapist is colorblind and has an unusual brainwave pattern. Tick becomes very frightened, thinking he could be implicated in this murder. He also recalls that Iris was looking for Lenny. Mace guesses that Iris left something in Lenny's car. So, I mean, I had a hard time, Des, watching the scene. I thought it was really kind of distressing and uncomfortable to watch. So, I mean, we don't have to dig into it any deeper than we already did. But I will mention that, I don't know if you've noticed this, but there is that one kind of goon that works for Philo who has the blonde dreads, the girl.
Yeah.
And I kept saying to myself, I know her. Where do I know her from? And she is a very famous dancer from Canada, and she was in a David Bowie video. So that's how I knew who she was.
Oh, she was?
Yeah, she's in the 1990 Fame remake video. So that's her
Oh.
dancing with Bowie.
I liked
Yeah.
her character. I liked her
I
character. I'll
liked
tell
her
you
character too. I thought she was
yeah.
cool.
One thing this movie didn't have a lack of was, and funny for a movie that's built around like rape and misogyny and men saying unbelievably offensive things to women, like where Philo says, the only time, you should be speaking is when you're fucking sucking a dick or whatever he says. I was just like, oh, this is so just bad.
That's
Like
gross.
he says it to Juliet's character.
Right.
Yeah, and I was just like, what the fuck? There's a lot of very strong women in this. You've got the blonde who kicks ass. You've got what's her
Mace.
name? Mace, who kicks ass. You've got Juliette's character, who basically is like, yeah, she's gonna take it from Philo, but she's a rock star. Everybody in the club looks up to her. She's calling the shots with the guys. So yeah, I mean, it had a lot of very strong characters in it. They were all women,
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I agree. And like even Michael Wincott's character, like he plays a dick. Has he ever played a nice guy in a movie? Like has
No,
he ever
he's
played a
think
nice
so.
character?
no, he's awesome. I love him.
I love
I know, I
him.
do too. But like I just I don't know, like when he like even when he like whacks her, like he knocks her, like he smacks her
Yeah,
down. Do you know what I mean? Like he's just
yeah,
he's that guy that like just always gets his way. And I feel like at the end of the movie, doesn't I feel like Tom Sizemore's character says that like Faith used to be a crackhead and that's how she met Lenny?
yeah.
Like
He said, well, he was like a 21-year-old runaway or something,
okay.
and he could pick her up off the streets. Again, it was not a fairy tale relationship.
Well, and here's the thing, like I love Juliette Lewis. I think she can do nothing wrong to like acting wise because she's so good. And I love this character, the way she played this character. However, the character as a whole is an asshole, and I don't know why all these men are like going crazy over her.
Because
Yeah.
she's like fucking ridiculously, stupidly hot.
Yes, that
Okay,
and
well,
and she's fucking ridiculously, stupidly cool.
Yeah.
Fucking
yes. Okay.
yeah.
I mean, the outfits that she wears in this movie, mwah. I mean,
Mhm.
she
Yeah.
looks
Yeah.
stunning.
The
Stunning.
hair is great. She's a
Yeah.
rock star.
She and honestly, like I love her, outside of this character, but this character, like, yeah, she's gorgeous. She's got a rockin' body. She's got
Yeah.
amazing, stage presence, and
Yeah.
she's awesome. But like personality wise, she's a fucking
Oh,
dolt.
yeah, she's trash.
You
But you
know?
know what? That describes a lot of rock stars. So there you go.
I did.
True.
I liked both of
True.
the original songs that she sang,
Me
and I
too.
looked into it. And
Me
they were
too.
written by a guy named PJ Harvey.
Oh no, that's not a
So-
guy, honey.
That's a girl.
Oh, is
That's
it a girl?
Yeah.
Who is she?
PJ Harvey. That's who she
Yeah,
is.
but from what? From what?
She's
So
she
PJ
was
Harvey.
like,
She is a solo act.
she was
What
like
does she
really
do?
big in the
Anything-
90s, I think, right?
Yeah.
Anything I would have heard of? Any songs or?
I wouldn't be
Um,
surprised if you've heard something, but she was kind of like a Tori Amos type.
Yeah,
Tori
very indie.
Amos,
Yeah.
Okay.
indie darling type.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the guy in me, Trinity. I always thought you were a guy. Most guys do. It's like I just assumed it was a dude writing the songs.
No,
Fucking-
the PJ
yeah.
Harvey's a woman.
Okay,
Well, and
good enough.
she Juliette Lewis, like her I haven't seen it and I really want to see it. Michael Rappaport did a documentary of Juliette Lewis's tour or her music called like
Oh, really?
hard it's either hard loving woman or hard something woman. She is phenomenal and I would have loved to have seen her live, and she did do a tour, and I know a couple people that actually went and saw her.
Oh,
And they
nice.
said it was spectacular.
Cool.
And I wish she would do more, but I feel like she's kind of put that on the back burner and has gone back to acting again.
Yeah, isn't she in Yellow Jackets?
Yes.
Yeah, I've
Yes.
been dying to watch that between her and Melanie Linsky. I'm all over it. And I just haven't had a chance to sit down yet.
Love that show.
Yeah.
But I got to tell you, one thing that I did want to, I don't know why I was so touched by this, but I thought it was a really cool glimpse. Like when Lenny gave the amputee guy in the nightclub the disc of the guy running on
Yeah.
the beach. Like I loved that because it showed he's not a total fuckhead. Like he does. Do you know what I mean?
He
Like
does
he's
care.
Not only that,
Yeah.
but it explores this technology in a clever way. It's like, instead of just showing me 5 rapes and 5 murders, it's
Right.
like, look, this is what it can do. And this is
Mhm.
like, I was actually engaged. And that's where I thought that this movie really dropped the ball on such a
Yeah, like, I'd like
great
more of that.
concept.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
You
Yeah.
know,
I agree.
And
use
show
this,
me
use
more of
this.
Lenny not be of Lenny not being a dick. Show me more of Lenny being a good guy and looking out
Well,
for his friends, you know?
how
Because
about
he's
just,
awful to Angela Bassett.
He is,
just
yeah.
use this amazing technology as a tool to tell the story? Like, just
Mhm.
make
Yeah.
it interesting. I was a little confused. So he watches the video of the rape murder, and then he pulls up in front of the hotel and they're taking the body out. I was a little confused by this time frame. Like, how long had she been dead in the hotel? Was it just coincidence he was pulling up as they were bringing the body out?
Well,
I
I
just
think it was so expediting it so we didn't have to suffer through him going upstairs and finding her body and everything else. Like, this
But
way it
he
was
does actually do that later in the movie where he goes into the murder scene, and instead of clearing the room, he's like, I'm gonna put the squid helmet on and just sit here and watch the thing like there could be a killer. Oh God. This guy was a cop. Really?
When
Come
he's
on.
pushing, like, yeah, when he's got the thing on and he's got his eyes open and closed and he's pushing the lamps around, I'm like, make sure there's no one there.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Clear
Lock
the
the door
room.
behind you. Make sure there's
You're
no
a
one in there.
cop. You're a cop. Clear the scene. It's a crime scene. This is like Cop 101.
There was a
And we're
couple
not
times
even cops.
when I know when my Tony was like, who's a former cop, was like, you
Yeah.
don't do that like that. You know what I mean?
Oh no. Oh, for him, he must have watched this and been like, oh my God, no. I want to say something because we've discussed, specifically with you, Mikki, you've discussed how Vincent D'Onofrio was such a great actor, and he really is. He was so bad in this, I almost didn't recognize him. His performance is beyond mailed in. It's so beneath him as an actor, and the guy who plays his partner,
Yes.
Fitchner, he is also a fucking dude. I love this guy as an actor. He's so fucking good.
Agreed.
I just saw him in something recently. Movie just came out. I told you to watch it yesterday, Dylan. It's Brando.
In one ear, out
Okay.
the other.
Okay, yeah, perfect. He plays the bad guy in it, and he's really, really good.
He's
So
good.
yeah,
Yeah, I feel like they both like, and I don't know if it was intentional. I kind of feel like it was intentional because these two are supposed to be kind of boneheads. You know what I mean?
True enough. But I also feel like they were given not
Not
great.
a lot to work with. Yeah.
Yeah, thank
they're
you.
both
Yeah.
very young in this too. Very,
Yeah.
very young.
Yeah.
But I
But
thought
Vincent
that the
D'Onofrio was
performance.
doing some freaking amazing stuff right out of the gate. I feel
Yeah.
like this was kind of below him and he just kind of got in on it because it was a big James Cameron vehicle and
Yeah.
was
This
like,
was
okay,
almost
let's do
30
this
years
thing.
ago.
But
I
with some of the
know.
actors, okay, so let's just do this then. How about this? The bodyguard, the guy who plays the bodyguard for Philo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How about he's the other cop with 4 lines in the movie, and we put D'Onofrio in as the bodyguard for Philo, and we give him about 100 more fucking lines of exposition.
True.
You know, these are
Yeah.
2 great actors that are given no role in the movie.
Yeah.
And wait till we get to the end of the movie.
Okay.
Okay,
Let's not
keep
jump
going.
ahead. Okay, let's move.
Okay.
Okay, so Mace takes Lenny to the impound lot and they break in and find Lenny's car. Lenny finds a disc and note that Iris left. As they leave, Steckler and Engelman appear and demand the disc at gunpoint. Lenny hands them a disc. Steckler prepares to shoot him when the lot's guard dog attacks and bites Engelman. Lenny and Mace escape to her limo and take off with the cops right behind. Mace is forced to stop at a dock. Steckler pours gasoline on the car and sets it on fire. Mace drives it into the harbor, extinguishing the flames. They're able to get out and swim to safety. Lenny reveals that he tricked the cops by giving him a disc of him and Faith, and one that Iris left him is down his pants. So, Mikki, as you know, I hate it when animals get hurt in movies, and this is no exception.
Quarter point off.
Yeah, but I was thrilled that he bit Engelman before he bit it. So,
Right.
he did a good job. He was a very good boy.
He's a good boy. Yeah.
Yeah. But, this
I don't
is
like
kind
it.
of.
Tony and I watch that and we're like, no.
Yeah, it makes me mad.
That.
Makes me mad.
I wish that dog had eaten one of them to death and then got away.
Me too. But yeah, I just that old thing like, oh, he's pouring gasoline on the car. Oh, the gas, the thing is going to explode. It's like they say that it takes a lot more for the gas tank in your car to explode than just a little fire. But whatever.
Let's go out and try it after the podcast.
No, thank you.
Okay. Well, I was thinking
All
on the
right.
neighbor's car.
Oh, well, I mean, then let's do it.
Okay,
So do you want to talk about that a little bit?
sure.
Or
Don't, Mickey,
okay.
do you have anything to say on this scene? Because I got a couple of things to say.
I just again, I felt like that this was one of those scenes that maybe could have been pared down. Like the car chase didn't maybe need to be so long, and she's like, and this is what I do. But then she did it, but then she ended up stopping at a dead end. Like I was like, why don't you find a different way? I don't know. Like to me, that was like I don't know why they had her do that. Like they had her be like, this is what I do, and I'm a badass, and I'm going to get us out of this. And I knew, defensive driving and offensive driving or whatever. And then boom, you're at a fucking dead end and you can't go anywhere.
Yeah, not very good driving for someone whose character
Yeah.
arc is
Um,
like the super driver.
well, and the other thing is through this whole scene, like the moment they enter that impound lot to the moment they get out of the water, it's almost like Lenny is like a simpleton. She's like moving the seat, she's getting the gun, she's
Oh,
shooting the thing
thank
out.
you.
And
Thank
he's just
you.
sitting there.
He's a
Yeah.
fucking ex-cop.
Yeah.
He's fucking like, he's like, well, that's it.
That's it. We're dead.
Even
Buckle
Tony's
up
like,
and let's.
he should know this. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. I
Yeah.
can hold my breath a long, long time. That is not a good plan. That is not a good plan, Lenny. Yeah, it's
Oh,
fucking horse
shit.
shit. It's
Yeah.
absolute horse shit.
All right, honey. So let's hear your thoughts.
Oh, it just sucks, all of it. I mean, and then when they get out of the water, well, it sucks that you gave them the disc. No, I didn't. It's like everybody in the entire room knows you didn't. Like, first of
well,
all, these two cops aren't going to believe that that's the disc. I don't believe it's the disc. No one believes it's the disc except for fucking Shred or whatever her name is.
Mace.
and
Shred.
and this is just me being nitpicky, but would the disc still be okay after it getting wet?
Yeah, I think you can put a CD in water.
I mean, I don't think it's ideal care and maintenance, but
Right.
Oh,
Yeah.
God. So,
That scene could have been cut in half by like
a
a good
lot.
couple minutes. And I don't know. I just feel like they should have had her do some. It didn't make any sense to me. Like, this is what I do. And then, okay, now we're stuck.
Yeah.
yeah, for
You know?
three cops and an ex like Navy SEAL, there's a lot of bad technical decisions being made here on this doc. It's
All
bad.
right.
Okay.
All right. Exhausted, Lenny goes home and falls asleep on his couch. When he wakes up, there's another envelope waiting for him. He watches as the attacker slips into his own home and holds a box cutter at his neck. Distressed, he pulls the gear off and goes for his gun. He hears a noise in the kitchen, but it's only Mace. He goes to Tick's place to see if Tick can identify the man in the clip, but he finds Tick catatonic. From Tick's perspective, we can only see bursts of static and color and a faint image of Lenny trying to talk to him. Lenny says Tick has been forced to wear a squid with the signal boosted to a dangerous level, causing severe brain damage to his frontal lobe. Technically, Tick has not been murdered, but he will never recover. Max is also there, and he reveals that the police are on high alert searching for the disc and anyone involved with it. Afraid to go to either of their homes, they collect Mace's son and go to her brother's house where there's a party being held. Lenny watches the disc that Iris left behind. Afterward, he presses Mace into watching it. It shows the two policemen that attacked them that night or the night before, shooting Jericho 1 execution style after a traffic stop. Iris witnessed the whole thing. Mace is clearly upset at the incident and decides to help Lenny get the clip to authorities. So, Des, we finally get the reveal of what's actually happening here, but I'm already doing this thing of like, okay, what does this have to do with the psycho killer raping women with a stun gun?
Oh, God. Okay.
I get confused quickly.
We got this exposition earlier in the movie about how the killer is colorblind and has this strange pattern in his mind. None of this ever comes back into play. It's not like fucking Tom Sizemore's character says at some point, like I don't see colors or something, where it kind of perks everybody's like, no, this never comes into play again. This clever little thing, they just drop it, which I hated. Why does she have to watch the video? Why does she have to watch it? Just fucking tell her what it is. And then when we actually see the scene, it's like a B movie. It doesn't look like a traffic stop. It just isn't good. Like, literally, this movie that we're going to be breaking down with the director The Last Deal, which is an indie movie, is shot better than this scene. This scene is terrible for a $48 million movie. It's not good.
They underutilized the actor that played Jericho 1. If you're
They
gonna
did.
do this, if you're gonna do this, you have to do it.
They underutilized. They had the fucking Vincent D'Onofrio. They had fucking the other dude there. These two
Angela
amazing
Bassett.
actors. Dude, this could have been like, this scene should have been fucking like acting 101, and it was garbage.
You know what I didn't like? And it's funny because I said it out loud last night. So again, and I love Ralph Fiennes, like I love him so much, and
Yeah.
I don't know, like, so the scene when he wakes up and he's like, oh yeah, and now he hears somebody in his house. So you can see him reach under his bed to grab the gun, and he's doing a casing, and then he goes back to get the bullets. Like, are you fucking kidding me?
He doesn't even have it loaded, dude.
Are you kidding me?
Like, I could see if maybe he was like just some peddler and had the gun, but he's a cop.
But no offense, why did they even need to show him doing that? Like, why did they have to show that? To show what a bumbling, lovesick person he was? Like, I don't know why they even bothered to film that. They should have just filmed him grabbing the gun and then seeing Angela Bassett. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I'm also not sure what the point was of making the disc of him putting the blade to his throat. Like, he's not a cop investigating the case. I just didn't understand why he was trying to say
to screw with him, because the blade, because he would recognize the blade from Iris's video, and so knowing that, so to let him know that whoever killed Iris is on to him knowing about it.
Right, but it doesn't make sense because at the end we're going to find out that it's Tom Sizemore's character and they're best friends. And when he says, "Why are you doing this? We're best friends," he's like, really? He actually literally says like, I don't know. Like, he doesn't even explain why he's turning on his best friend and ex-partner.
Yeah, well, he breaks into the... Yeah, he's breaking into his house. Yeah, he's breaking into his house to fuck with him, but he's giving him these tapes because he's looking to put him in the right place so that he can frame him. But but here's the thing: you lose sight of that because the Jericho 1 stuff starts coming out. So then you're focusing on that, and you've lost sight of this. So you're doing this, and you can never focus on the story, and that's the problem.
Right. And the thing is, too, is funny is that we never actually so they're trying to sell that this was actually just a traffic stop gone bad. Like, that's kind of how they're trying to sell us this. It wasn't like this was a plot by the police department by 5 bad cops that said, we're going to take Jericho out. This guy is causing a revolution. We're going to frame this other cop that was fired from the force for okay, so right off the bat, if you want to stick with this exact same plot, that's a better movie. So we've got 5 crooked cops that are going to fucking set up this other cop that's been defaced from the force for some crime that he committed, whatever. They maybe even set him up to get him kicked off the force. They murder Jericho. They frame this other cop. But that's not the story we're getting here. It's fucking absurd. And then at the very end, if that was the plot that we had, they could have given the disc to the old white politician, which is the last guy you want to save the African-American race. Because as we know, you cannot trust an old white politician to do anything because they're just corrupt cunts, right? So they could have given him the disc, and then we could have found out that he was behind this whole thing from the start and actually put these crooked cops up to this execution of Jericho. But that's way too clever for this movie. And I'm no James Cameron, but I think I just wrote a better plot. and then
oh my God, he's still going.
Because then after she watches this execution of this influential African-American man, right? She watches this and she goes, well, should we turn this disc over so the people can see? What do you mean? Yes, you should give this over so the people can see it. Well, I don't want to be responsible for African Americans being beaten in the street by police officers and causing a revolution. Have you been outside during this movie? That's all we're seeing is cops beating up black people through this entire movie. get
true
people
enough.
to
beating up
fucking
Santa Claus. Yeah.
oh,
Yeah.
just get the CD into the hands of the public and see it. They'll burn this fucking city to the ground.
I mean, frankly, I'm jumping ahead, but I'm going to do that because everyone else does too. At the very end, there's the big screens that say 2000, 2000. I could have sworn she was going to find a way to jack the disc in and show it on the screen so everybody saw
Dude,
it.
you had
Like,
to.
and what?
No. Instead, we get fucking Johnny fucking old man politician slipping it in his pocket and be like, arrest these men and let this woman go. And
It
like,
was so weird.
is
It
he
was so
going to
weird.
turn it over? Is this ever going to be seen by the public? Will justice be done? I don't know.
Yeah.
Probably not. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah. So,
Delaney,
No, I
yeah,
get it.
thank you.
Yeah.
That
Yeah, I
had
mean-
to go up on the screen.
right? Like
Yeah, I
if
think it should've.
if he had said, I'm not going to watch it, that's illegal stuff, and she took it and found a way to jack it into all the screens that everybody can see, and that way he has to see it.
Okay. Not only
That's
that,
better.
so let's explore this too. Okay, so Ted Sizemore, it find out that he's been wearing the squib, whatever. Tom Sizemore. So we're gonna discover that he's been wearing this squib under that fucking dried out hairpiece for the last 2 hours and 15 minutes, right? Which means he's been recording things, right?
Everything.
How about this? How about they get the disc from him at gunpoint in the hotel room, or even after, they shoot him. They get the fucking information. They play the plot of him plotting with the other 5 cops and the fucking district attorney or the head of the cops on setting up this Jericho hit, right?
Something.
So we get the exposition of the cops setting this thing up, the dirty cops. They also talk about how they've set up fucking what's his face,
Yeah.
the main
Lenny.
character's Lenny for, bullshit. That's why he's not a cop anymore. And then they show the actual execution on the big screen at the ball drop. There's your ending.
I agree.
Okay.
Fuck
I just
this
feel like
movie.
that could have done a little something. It's
Oh.
better than what they did.
Could have done a lot something.
Okay, so Lenny and Mace go to the largest Millennium New Year's Eve party in the city, one that they know both Philo and Faith will attend, along with Max and Commissioner Strickland. Lenny goes off to find Faith, because of course he does, because he's annoying, in Philo's room in the hotel, and Mace tries to find the commissioner and give him the clip of Jericho's murder. Strickland threatens to have Mace arrested for carrying illegal material, but she convinces him to watch the clip. I mean, not really. She kind of basically says, I knew it, and takes off, but whatever. He obviously ends up watching it. Philo's security guard catch up with her and begin to follow Mace through the thong of party guests. However, she drives them off with a little standoff in the kitchen. Lenny takes the elevator to Philo's rented suite. He finds signs of a struggle and a body covered by a sheet. On a table is a disc player and a note for him. He watches the clip inside and sees another stalking by the same colorblind man who killed Iris. This time, the victim is Faith. Alarmed, he checks the suite and finds a body under the sheet. It's not Faith, it's Philo. Still with a squid on his head, but he is brain dead. Lenny puts the headset back on and finishes watching the clip. Faith is seemingly strangled and raped by the attacker, but she isn't killed, and she even says that she enjoyed the near-death experience. Her attacker turns out to be Max, who's been carrying on a secret affair with Faith. As they finish having sex, Philo appears. Max immediately beats Philo, telling Faith that Philo hired Max to kill her and forces him to watch the clip of Faith being attacked, forcing the muzzle of the pistol into Philo's mouth. Max then turns up the signal on the player, causing Philo the same permanent brain damage that Tick suffered. So, Mikki, there's a lot to cover here. Max is revealed to be our sicko attacker, and Faith is complicit in this whole thing, it seems. And honestly, I was so confused by now. I really wasn't sure what was happening, to be honest with you.
That was a heavy scene. Excuse me. Like when Max has the gun in Philo's mouth and he's like pushing, like that was a heavy scene. Like that was a little hard to watch.
Very.
But I have to say, when Angela Bassett stuck that little pistol in her little garter, I was like, damn girl, like she's so badass.
Yes.
And then when the girl's like, enjoy the party, like they're like, I'm not fucking with her again. You know what I mean? Like, that was awesome.
Yeah, the dancer's like, I'm good, we're good.
Yeah.
See ya.
But that whole scene, I remember the first time I ever saw it back when it first came out, I was like, damn, like it came out of nowhere, this thing with Max. I was like, what?
Well, I knew it was Max the whole time. I mean, this was an obvious, just a trope. I mean, I never had any doubt it was going to be Max that was the double cross. I just didn't see the relationship with Faith. That was the part, but because there was never any fucking, not even a breadcrumb of it.
Right. And that was a tough scene with Philo with the gun.
Yeah.
But honestly, like, it also shows you, like, clearly Faith's taste is going downhill.
Oh, God.
Yeah, huge. I mean, she doesn't have good taste in general, honestly. You know,
Dude,
Lenny's all
No,
sweaty.
but honestly,
Max is
no
gross.
offense, you have a guy like Philo who, I mean, granted he's nuts too, but like he can do whatever for her career. Michael Wincott is not ugly. You know what I mean?
No,
He's
he's
clearly
awesome.
has money. Although
He
that bed,
plays
definitely left something to be desired. I don't know what was up with that bed in his place, but it was really weird.
It was so weird, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That purple bed.
It was like all different colors, like a rainbow bed.
Yeah, it was so weird.
But then you go from that. First of all, you go from Ralph Fiennes to Michael Wincott, and then Tom Sizemore, like sweaty, greasy, bad hair.
Doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense.
No.
Doesn't work. And how many more times do we have to watch the breadcrumb labeled with his name that says "watch me" or "read me"?
Right.
It's like, can't he just find something and just do a little detective work and fucking? Oh God, it's so bad. It's so bad. Okay, so let's just say they're not going to show the final execution on the billboard in front of the crowd at the ball drop, which again, we can all agree had to happen, but it didn't.
It should have.
So you're not, again, we don't know anything about this head of the police district attorney guy. We don't know anything about him. He could be crooked as all could be, right? So they're not going to trust the only copy of this to some guy they know nothing about. We've already been fed for 2.5 hours. The police are corrupt. They're bigots. They're racist. They're out hunting fucking people that fit a certain profile. So they can't be trusted. This guy can't be trusted. But the end of the movie, we're going to get her. We're going to get what's her name?
Which one?
Turbo.
Faith. I'm sorry, Angela Bassett.
Mace. We're going to get Mace on the ground.
We got Turbo. We had Shred.
We're going to get Mace on the ground being beaten by the two police officers with nightsticks.
You're jumping way ahead.
I know, but I'm just saying. So she's on the ground getting beaten by these two cops. And nobody's stepping in to save her, which is ridiculous because that crowd would be on those two cops like fucking white on rice. But anyway, how about this? So the old white guy, what's his name?
Strickland.
Strickland shows up with like 5 of his fucking fully suited cops, and they drag those two cops off, beat him a couple of times and say, he puts his hands down, get up. I'm so sorry. These cops are dirty, whatever. And then she pulls the disc out and hands it to him, knowing he's on the side of justice. He's on the side of what's right. Just fucking, there's nothing for me here. Go ahead.
Okay.
All right, Shred.
Oh my God. So Max appears in the hotel room and tells Lenny about how he had been hired by Philo to follow Faith and how he and Faith have fallen in love, which I can't figure it out. I can't figure it out. After killing Iris, Max and Faith plotted it against Philo and Lenny. Max also shoots Philo with Lenny's gun, intending to pin the murder on him. Max aims his pistol at Lenny, but Faith, not wanting to see Lenny be killed, stops him. Why? What? I don't understand I don't get her motivations whatsoever. But anyways, Max and Lenny fight each other until Max breaks through one of the suite's windows and hangs high above the street by Lenny's tie. Lenny seizes the knife that Max stabbed him in the back with. Like, ooh, that was a little...
Oh, dude.
Yeah, like you stabbed him in the back. Oh
God, I literally sighed and rolled my eyes. Okay.
And Max plunges to the street. So I'm going to pause here because this is the big last scene for Lenny. I'm super confused by Faith here. She wants to not hurt people, but she's complicit in a lot of people being hurt. So it doesn't make any sense. Like later we see she's under arrest. I assume she's under arrest as an accomplice for the murders that Max did, I guess. But the real question is, do you think Tom Sizemore could really hold on to that silky tie without slipping for that long?
No, and I think the other guy's eyeballs would be popping out of his fucking head. He's got a 300-pound guy hanging off his silk tie. No.
Yeah.
This is not what it looks like. This is ridiculous. This whole thing is ridiculous. Pulls the knife out, cuts the thing. It's already also been discussed. We've been told for 2.5 hours that this killer basically can't be tracked or discovered because Tom Sizemore is such an amazing detective that he's covered every track, every hint or clue that could possibly tie him to these murders. He has, thought of because he's the detective. So it just, it doesn't.
Well,
make
you
sense.
mentioned how when they pull his wig off, there's the squid underneath on his wig, which means he's recording everything. That goes nowhere.
There's no payoff. There is no payoff. Why is he wearing a wig? What has he been recording all this time? I mean, so he's been recording these murders, but I mean, that's like, 20 minutes out of this whole movie.
Yeah.
Why is he? Oh, God.
Yeah.
And okay, here's another thing, not to get like super technical. So he rapes and murders Iris.
Yes.
I didn't see him put a condom on.
No.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
DNA. I mean, he walk around with a condom on all the time. You know what I mean? Like, it didn't make any sense. Like,
well, he walks around with a squib on all the time, so maybe.
Yeah, good point, though. Good point. There's some DNA transfer, even if it's just epithelial cells, I mean, granted, 1999, I don't think they had that technology, but...
We're at epithelia cells now? Is that where we're at in this movie? Okay. I don't know, man. And then, like I said, for the unbelievable exposition drop they're going to give us between
Lenny and Max.
Ted Sizemore, Juliette Lewis.
His name is Tom. Stop calling him Ted.
All right, between him, his character, Juliette's character. I mean, they're literally going to say, all right, for anybody who doesn't know what's been going on, this is what's been happening. We're going to get this whole story spelled out for us over like 3 minutes of exposition.
Which you needed because nobody knew what was going on.
Including the writer, because even what he says still doesn't tie up this movie, because literally Lenny's going to go, so why are you double crossing me? I thought we were friends. And Tom Sizemore he's like, I don't know, man, just fucking bored, sorry.
Right.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. That's great. That's exciting. What a twist. That's not a clever twist ending. No. None of this was.
Yeah.
That's a classic narcissist answer, though. I don't know.
Yeah,
true enough. Like, I'm sorry. Just what I wanted to do.
Jesus.
All right.
And,
let's move on. On the street, Mace has been discovered by both Steckler and Engelman. They follow her through the streets, including shooting at her and hitting innocent bystanders instead of her. And you'd think that people would run away, and still people are like, woo, at the party. But okay. When they catch up to her, Mace engages them both and handcuffs them to each other. Strickland shows up with a small police unit, and Steckler claims that Mace has assaulted them both. Strickland shows them the incriminating clip and says that they're both under arrest for murder. Engelman shoots himself in the mouth with his own pistol, and Steckler, still handcuffed to his partner, drags the body after Mace. When he points his pistol at Mace, the police open fire, killing Steckler. People celebrate and couples kiss as 1999 turns to 2000. On the street, Lenny finds Mace. The two embrace before Lenny is led away to an ambulance. Mace is going to go to the station with Strickland, but Lenny runs back and she jumps out and they kiss while the celebration continues around them.
That made me angry.
No, I'm just sorry. No.
Now he's realizing, okay, this dipshit that I've been hounding over this whole movie is now going to jail. So, okay, I'll take the other one.
Yeah.
And this confident,
if I was Mace, I would have punched him in the fucking face.
Mace is saying no. She's not going for this. She's listen, the fucking plot of this story is you're a loser. That's it.
The plot is I don't need you. Mace does not need him.
No.
At all.
And, and if we're going to have this movie that has this bullshit plot and these bullshit fucking, like, oh, you know what? If you're going to give me this exposition drop at the end, like, spoon feeding me the plot of this movie because it just didn't go anywhere. How about this? Can we at least have Strickland say something like, like, don't worry, the people responsible for this will be brought to justice. And, like, I want to know that this fucking video is going to get out and people are going to see what happened.
Yeah. Because that's not important, it doesn't, they don't show
Oh,
it.
no, it's not important. It's just the plot of the entire fucking movie is built on the assassination of Jericho.
Is it a serial killer a la Seven? Is it a race movie for the killing of Jericho? Who can say? Who can say?
Is it a sci-fi movie? Is it 8mm? I don't know. I don't know what this is. I don't know what this is.
I mean, it looks good while it's doing it. It's just, it's very confused.
Yeah.
It's very confused.
I think we need to talk to James Cameron and Jay Cox, and I want to know what was going through their head. Because again, I'm not going to lie. There was a lot about this movie that I did like, especially like when I first saw it.
Sure.
It's obviously, as the years have gone on, that I'm older and a little wiser. I'm like, okay. But this could have been
Yeah. Yes.
unfucking believable.
It could have been. The concept of selling emotions and memories is amazing.
Yes.
They just didn't take it in the direction that it needed to go. It wasn't important. It wasn't the star of the show. It just, the only time I thought it was even remotely clever was when the guy got to run on the beach. It gave me a glimpse of what could have been.
Well,
Right.
and like that line that Angela Bassett says to Ralph Fiennes, she's like, memories were meant to fade, Lenny. They were designed that way for a reason. I fucking love that line. She
so good.
is like the voice of reason through this whole movie.
Yeah.
So good. Oh,
Yeah.
Angela Bassett is one of the only reasons to watch this movie.
She's the star of this movie, period.
She's the star of this movie. The concept is great. I really like Michael Wincott. I mean, he had some scenes where he's sitting playing that Strat in his room.
Oh, yeah,
some really nice artsy visuals in this
There's
movie.
some
were
beautiful
really great.
moments.
Yes.
I mean,
Yeah.
Juliette Lewis singing in that little sparkly outfit. I mean, I was
Yes.
like, oh my God, it's gorgeous. But
Yeah.
then the story just crashes and burns.
It's just garbage, and it's 2.5 hours, and it's just it's a missed opportunity. This movie, it's a missed opportunity
because there was a lot to like, but there's a lot to not like too.
Yeah.
So
I mean, even like with a movie like Total Recall, for instance, where you're doing the implant, and at the end you're not really sure if what you've seen was the implant gone bad or did he really go to Mars. And I always say that the whole thing was actually the implant, and that was his vacation, and that's what we saw. Some people think that it wasn't. If we'll get to it, because we're going to do it eventually, but we didn't even get that in this. Like,
what's real life, what's not.
Yeah, like we didn't sizemore pulls off the squib and the thing goes black. Was it real? Was this did somebody pay to have this experience?
Yeah.
Then maybe I would have gone, oh, and then maybe, you get a clip of Jericho on the news singing or something. I don't know. Like, he's still alive. I don't know. Whatever. I'm grasping.
No, but see, like, that's a cool idea. You give me 5 minutes at the end with that, with like
Something
a dude that's like literally like a businessman taking the thing off, and Jericho's alive and everything, and he's like, what a ride.
The guy
that businessman from the beginning.
The businessman from the beginning. We see him taking it off, and we find out what
the attorney.
This is what
either that or the Japanese businessman from the limo.
Oh,
one of the two of them.
Yeah,
one of the two of them. Like, that would have been great.
Yeah, and and this was the tailor-made thing. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
See, we've already rewritten this movie 4 times better. So, okay.
All right. I would write in more history with Angela Bassett and Lenny.
Yeah, I would write in some more clever shit too. And I would also put in a really cool twist ending, something like what we just came up with.
Yeah. Something.
So, Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
So let's shall we score it? Final thoughts and
Let's do some
scoring?
let's do some final thoughts, some scores. So final thoughts. Like I said, this movie, super long ride, not a lot of fun, lazy storytelling, got some great performances. Angela Bassett, amazing, amazing concept, sexy looking movie, overdone with rape and murder. They sold out this great idea on cheap storytelling. My rewatch score, 1.56. I mean, it's not a total piece of shit because again, it's got a great concept and a couple of good acting performances and it's sexy looking, but yeah, 1.56. That's mine.
All right. How about you, Mikki?
So again, and I keep saying this, but I love the concept of this movie. I think it could have been such a different movie if they had done a couple of things. Love Angela Bassett's character. I love, I love Michael Wincott. Tom Sizemore, even though he's always plays a scuzz, like he was a good actor. And I love Ralph Fiennes. I thought if his goal was to make Lenny pathetic and stupid and whatever, he did a good job. And honestly, too, the soundtrack to this was amazing.
Oh yeah. Oh, yeah.
I remember buying the CD. I mean, I liked it so much. For me, and again, Juliette Lewis, she can do no wrong for me. So I give it a 2.25.
There you go.
2.25. Okay.
Yeah, because there
just
was
a
a lot
little
that
under average.
yeah, there's a lot that I did like about it, but there was a lot that I didn't.
All right.
Okay.
Honestly, I'm not going to waste a bunch of time. I echo you guys on all of that. The good is good and the bad is real bad. So I'm going to give it a 2.13. And when we equal that out between the three of us, that gives us a 1.98. So let's see where that falls.
I hope it goes under Neighbors.
It's
if
under
you listen
Neighbors.
to the show, you know it's my mission
Neighbors.
to
It's
move
under
Neighbors up this list.
It's number 32. It's only behind Streets of Fire.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
I actually would rather watch this again than Streets of Fire, I think.
No, I'm saying it's above Streets of Fire. You have a hard time grasping this concept, huh?
I do. I do.
Streets of Fire is at 33, Strange Days is at 32, and The Fifth Element is at 31. So it falls beneath The Fifth Element, but it is above Streets of Fire.
I think that's right. I think that's right. It's above Streets of Fire.
Yeah.
I would rather watch this than Streets of Fire.
Me too.
Okay.
Me too.
Let's recast it. So for me, Ted Sizemore was the weakest character. Not
Tom. Tom Sizemore.
Okay. So for me, Tom Sizemore was the weakest character. And it wasn't his acting. It was that wig, man. It was a mistake making him wear it for the whole movie because, right? Here's why. I thought that it was a stylistic choice by the director to sell me that he was like this old rocker dude. And that was his real hair. And it was like so obviously this horrifyingly bad wig. So I believe that they should have shown him taking it on and off as he was squibbing.
Squibbing.
So yeah, it didn't work.
There's
for me.
no B in that word, but okay.
All right, whatever. So I would replace Tom Sizemore with a young Ray Liotta. And I'll tell you why, because I could have believed that love affair between Ray Liotta and Brie.
I agree. Brie, Faith.
Yeah, whatever.
All right, Mikki, how about you give us your recast?
Okay. So I really I love Michael Wincott. I really do. I he's another one that I feel like he's typecast though, and he always plays a dick. So I feel like, and I would kind of like to see him in a jerk role. I would cast Jason Momoa as Philo.
Oh, interesting.
Oh, I like that.
I do too.
Yeah, kind of a big, menacing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, super. He could be super menacing.
Yeah. The only problem with him being Philo is he's so big, he would have kicked his bouncer's ass. You know what I mean? But I do love him. I do love him.
Me too.
But
okay. So for my recast, I've got two, but the first one, I would flip two characters. I would put Vincent D'Onofrio into Tom Sizemore's role and Tom Sizemore into Vincent D'Onofrio's role. I think you would have gotten a better movie. I think Vincent D'Onofrio would have done a better job first.
That's a good idea. Yeah.
If not, instead of Tom Sizemore, I would like Robert Downey Jr. from the time of Natural Born Killers. Tatonga. Like, put him in that Tom Sizemore role at that time. Perfect.
That's a good idea.
Anybody in the Tom Sizemore role without the wig. Yeah. Just not working for me, man. Tom Sizemore in this That's movie. Funny. All right.
I think we've done it.
Yeah. We did watch this from separate rooms this week, which I enjoyed. Let's just keep that rolling. We'll be back next week with Pat again, the podcaster with the Fully Packed Bong, and we will be reviewing Top Gun. Yes, this is a classic. I'm looking forward to this one. As always, like to thank you, the listeners, for stopping by and listening to the show. Please give us a 5-star review wherever you're listening to the podcast.
Rate and review, subscribe, thumbs up, stars, whatever you got, do it.
Yeah, all that stuff.
Share.
And also, share. I'd also like to thank you, Delyn, because you know I love watching movies from opposite ends of the house and then reviewing them with you. Mikki, as always, it was wonderful having you on the show. You always bring a wonderful opinion. Make sure you guys check out our sister podcast, Breaking Vinyl, where we break down an album front to back. This week we will be doing David Bowie's Let's Dance. Delyn, can you tell our listeners where they can find us and not rate us?
If you would like to find us on social media, we are on Facebook at Hey Did You Ever See That Movie? We are on Instagram at Hey Did You Ever See That Movie? We are on Twitter at Hey Did You Ever? And you can also email us at Hey Did You Ever See That Movie @gmail.com.
Okay, so I am running let me see here. Let me just go to where I am. Fifth Element. Okay, so I am running a poll. So you can find this poll on the Fifth Element episode. And the poll is, do you like disaster piece theater? And should we do it? You have 3 choices: every time, sometimes, or never. So go to the Fifth Element episode and take part in the poll. It's going to last for 1 week. And doesn't matter what you say because we're going to do it sometimes, but I'm interested to know what you think. So
we'll do it when we feel like it.
Yeah. So until next time, I just have one question for you. Hey, did you ever see that movie? See you later.
Bye. Bye.